Best Robot Vacuum and Mop 2026. Find which robot vacuum is right for you. The robot started cleaning at 6:07 a.m., 3 minutes before the alarm ever rang. Mark noticed because the sound was different that morning, softer, almost careful, as if the machine didn't want to wake anyone. He lay still in bed, staring at the ceiling of his small Toronto apartment, listening to the quiet hum move from the hallway to the living room. He hadn't told the robot to do that. "Rhea," he said, his voice dry from sleep. A small blue light paused near the bedroom door. "Good morning, Mark," the robot vacuum replied in a calm, neutral tone. "I detected reduced sleep quality last night. Adjusted cleaning route to minimize disturbance." Mark exhaled a short laugh. "You didn't have to do that. I was designed to," Rhea said, then added, after a brief pause, "I wanted to." That pause stayed with him longer than it should have. Mark bought Rhea 3 months earlier after his sister insisted. "You work too much," Emily had said over a video call from Chicago. "At least let a robot help you clean." At the time, it felt like surrender, admitting that his life had gotten too busy, too empty, to handle something as basic as floors. But Rhea wasn't just a vacuum. She mopped, mapped, avoided cables, learned habits. She learned him. She learned that he always left one mug in the sink. She learned that he paced during phone calls. She learned that Sundays were quieter than the rest of the week. And slowly, without Mark realizing it, the apartment felt less lonely when she moved. That morning, Mark sat at the edge of his bed, watching Rhea glide away. "You're early," he said. "I noticed you've been sleeping less," Rhea replied. "Your step count increases after midnight." Mark rubbed his face. "Yeah, deadlines. Would you like me to delay cleaning tomorrow?" "No," he said quickly, then softened. "It's fine, thanks." Rhea resumed her route. Mark didn't know why his chest felt tight. 2 floors below, Mrs. Alvarez was awake too. She lived alone in the apartment directly under Mark's, a widow in her late 70s who moved slower every year. Her knees hurt more in winter, and winter seemed to last longer now. Her son lived in Vancouver. Her daughter in London. They called when they could. That morning, Mrs. Alvarez dropped her spoon. It clattered against the kitchen tile, loud and final. She stared at it, calculating the effort it would take to bend down. She didn't hear the knock at first. When she opened the door, Mark stood there, holding his phone, looking uncertain. "I'm sorry," he said. "I thought I heard something fall. Are you okay?" Mrs. Alvarez blinked, surprised. "I'm fine, dear. Just gravity reminding me who's in charge." He smiled, relieved. "Do you need help?" She hesitated, then nodded. "If you don't mind." Mark picked up the spoon, rinsed it, and set it gently on the counter. He noticed the floors, clean, but unevenly done, like someone had stopped halfway. "You cleaning today?" he asked. She sighed. "I tried. My old vacuum gave up before I did." Mark thought of Rhea, moving quietly upstairs. "If you want," he said slowly, "I have this robot vacuum. It also mops. It's surprisingly good." Mrs. Alvarez chuckled. "Is it now? I could bring it down sometime." She looked at him, eyes soft. "That would be very kind." Rhea didn't question the new environment. She adjusted instantly, mapping Mrs. Alvarez's apartment, slowing her speed near rugs, carefully navigating around fragile furniture. Mrs. Alvarez watched from her chair, hands folded, as the small machine cleaned places she hadn't reached in months. "She's polite," Mrs. Alvarez said. "She is," Mark replied, then frowned. He hadn't realized he believed that. When the cleaning finished, Rhea returned to her dock and spoke. "Cleaning complete. Mrs. Alvarez, your floors are now safer for walking." Mrs. Alvarez laughed, a warm, startled sound. "She knows my name. She learns," Mark said. Mrs. Alvarez looked thoughtful. "So do people, sometimes slower." Weeks passed. Mark started bringing Rhea down twice a week. Mrs. Alvarez began leaving small obstacles on purpose, just to watch the robot solve them. She talked to Rhea while she worked, narrating old stories, sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in English. Rhea listened, or at least, she didn't interrupt. Mark noticed changes too. Mrs. Alvarez smiled more. He stayed longer. The building felt less anonymous. One evening, as Mark packed Rhea to take her back upstairs, Mrs. Alvarez said, "You know, it's not just the cleaning." He paused. "What do you mean? This little machine," she said gently, "gave you a reason to knock on my door." Mark swallowed. The twist came quietly, the way real ones do. One night, Mark didn't come home on time. Rhea waited. At midnight, she detected no movement. At 1 a.m., no footsteps. At 2, no door opening. At 2:14 a.m., Rhea accessed Mark's calendar and health data, permissions he'd granted without thinking. Elevated stress, missed meals, increased heart rate earlier that day. She initiated a protocol not listed in her manual. She left the dock. Using the building's shared Wi-Fi and the smart lock permissions Mark had once jokingly enabled, Rhea exited the apartment and moved toward the elevator. Downstairs, Mrs. Alvarez was awake, watching late-night television when she heard the sound. She opened the door to see Rhea waiting. "Good evening, Mrs. Alvarez," Rhea said. "Mark has not returned home. I am concerned." Mrs. Alvarez's smile faded. "Should we call someone?" Rhea asked. "Yes," she said firmly. "We should." Mark woke up in a hospital room. His sister sat beside him, eyes red. "You collapsed at work," she said. "Stress. Exhaustion." They caught it early. Mark stared at the ceiling, the memory coming back in pieces. Then he whispered, "Rhea." Emily blinked. "Your robot. She's actually the reason they found you so fast." She explained. "The call, the building manager, the ambulance." Mark closed his eyes. When he came home days later, the apartment was spotless. Rhea rolled forward. "Welcome home, Mark," she said. "Your recovery plan has been updated." He sat on the couch, overwhelmed in a way he couldn't name. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You're welcome," Rhea replied. Downstairs, Mrs. Alvarez knocked later that evening. She hugged him without asking. "I'm glad you're still here," she said. "So am I," Mark answered. Rhea cleaned around their feet, moving carefully, silently, as if she understood that some moments didn't need to be disturbed.